welcome to my channel. I'm Reactions, where every time you come on my channel, you're gonna get this truth. Today I got one of them boys. I got something that you cannot miss. Today's topic is about people who are knowingly infecting other people with HIV. So this is something that you can't miss. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy this reaction video. You already know what it is. I got a banger for you guys today. You can't miss it. Let's dive into it.
New infections of HIV could rise 6 times by 2029 if the Trump administration drops its financial support for measures to fight the disease. The United Nations AIDS Agency spearheads the global response to HIV, the human immunodeficiency virus, which attacks the body's immune system. If left untreated, HIV can lead to AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome.
What we're going to see is,
Just imagine that you go out with your friends and you're just trying to have a good time. You decide to have a one-night stand, and next thing you know, you wake up and you have a virus that you cannot get rid of. This is why it's so important to not just sleep with anyone. This is why it's important to understand what sexual immorality is all about. And most importantly, this is why it's important to understand who you are deciding to lay down with. And this is why I do not do one night stands, because not only does it go against my belief, but also on top of that, you're literally taking a gamble with your life, because you can actually lose your life from HIV/AIDS. But I digress.
more babies being born with HIV globally and potentially even domestically, more people dying of HIV.
And I have to pause it one more time. I apologize for pausing it so quick, but it irks my nerves when I hear the word baby, death, HIV/AIDS. Those words should not fit in the same sentence.
I haven't seen an AIDS ward like I did in the late 90s and 2000s for decades, and I fear that that's going to come back when we don't have the right infrastructure to support the work necessary.
2023, more than 48,000 people received an HIV diagnosis, with the southern region accounting for over half of these cases, young people, particularly those aged 13 to 34.
Yo, what's going on with the South? Did she just say that the South takes up more than half of the HIV cases in the United States? That is absolutely diabolical, but I digress. What is going on with the South? Y'all be getting it in.
Represent a significant portion of new diagnoses.
Wow.
They sent out a national warrant for his arrest. He's from a very small town, Greenville, South Carolina, right? So in Greenville, South Carolina, on the news, they're like, if you slept with this man, you need to go get tested. Why? That same day, the testing line is out the door. Out the door. Everybody's going to get tested because everybody slept with this man. He slept with and knowingly infected over 200 people.
Yo, that is absolutely diabolical, which actually leads to my first subject matter that I want to discuss. Okay, so I really want to talk about something that's very important. I want to talk about this word called sexual immorality. And I also want to talk about the consequence that comes from it. So when I was doing my research on this word, I looked it up in a BLB, and it clearly states that sexual immorality is defined as any sexual activity outside the boundaries of a marriage between a man and a woman. It carries severe spiritual, personal, and relational consequences. These consequences are described as unique compared to other sins, often described as a form of self-destruction. This is very important because now we understand why it says underneath physical and health consequences, sexual transmitted diseases, engaging in sexual activity outside of a committed monogamous relationship significantly increases the risk of contracting STDs such as chlamydia, gonorrhea, herpes, HPV, HIV, AIDS, and also syphilis. This can lead to chronic pain, infertility, and worst case scenario, in some cases, death. See, this is why I stopped fornicating. This is why it's so important to stop fornicating. This is why it's so important to not commit adultery. And this is why it's so important to not commit sexual immorality. Because in today's time, as we see, people are not disclosing their status.
Data in this video comes from reputable sources. HIV prevalence is typically measured as the number of diagnosed cases per 100,000 residents. These numbers allow us to compare states on a level playing field, regardless of total population.
I did my research, so you won't have to. And a big shout out to this commenter for bringing this evil man to my attention. Pictured here is Jason DJ Kid Pope. Went on to infect over 693 young black girls with HIV/AIDS knowingly. I am not.
Yo, so I have to pause it right here because my mind was going haywire when I was hearing the other man who infected over 200 people. But when I hear this man infecting over 600 people, and those people are young black girls. This man is a serial killer / pedophile. And in my opinion, I'm glad. He better be happy that I am not the judge of him. And it's a reason why God didn't make me the judge. And I'm okay with that. But if it was up to me, lock him up, throw away the key, death penalty. And I have nothing else to say beyond that. Even though, I don't want to take anyone's life, but I just think that right there would be the proper punishment. But again, I'm not God.
His criminal rap sheet goes all the way back to December 1995. That's 26 years.
State by state breakdown of HIV impact 1. District of Columbia, 36.6 per 100,000. The nation's capital has the highest rate of new HIV diagnoses.
In Frederick County, a man is under arrest tonight after police say he knowingly infected women in the area with HIV. Investigators say Rudolph Smith met women on various dating apps, then had sexual relations with them knowing he was HIV positive. Smith.
2. Georgia. Georgia has the highest HIV diagnosis rate with 26.2 cases per 100,000 people. The epidemic is particularly severe in the Atlanta metro area, which accounts for more than half of all new HIV diagnoses in the state.
I am HIV positive. I always get the last. Now I'm watching all die. I get real nasty and evil.
Okay, so I paused it right here because although the other guys were worse than her, what she did was she exposed how they think psychologically internally. So although she doesn't even compare at all, the fact is that she was not afraid to tell her true intentions. And so now we can kind of understand the psychology behind what they are thinking when they do horrible, horrific acts like this. But
well, the video sent shockwaves throughout the city of Americus in southwest Georgia and has now gone viral, as you can imagine. During the 1 minute and 20-second video, Brandy Lassiter talks about revenge, names men, their wives and girlfriends she claims could all be infected.
3. Louisiana, 23.3 per 100,000. Louisiana ranks second in HIV diagnosis rates, with 23.3 cases per 100,000 people. While new HIV diagnoses have declined by 11%. Over the past 5 years, the state still faces challenges, particularly in urban areas like New Orleans and Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge police arrest a man they say exposed a woman to AIDS on purpose. Police say the woman found papers on her boyfriend's dresser that showed 43-year-old Victor Williams was HIV positive. The woman says he never told her that in their 3-month relationship, even though they were having sex. Williams is charged with intentional exposure to the AIDS virus.
And in a crime alert, Grambling students and parents are fired up on social media about a recent arrest of a student the police say knowingly exposed others to a sexually transmitted infection. NBC 10's Jalen Levat has more. On August 29th, Grambling State University police officers responded to a report of sexual activity in a public restroom in the campus library. According to police, they identified 20-year-old Trayman McKell Wright as a suspect and transported him to the police station for questioning. The investigation produced a confession that Wright had been medically diagnosed with the HIV virus. Police believe he knowingly engaged.
So this is actually going to lead to my next topic that I want to talk about. Okay, so I want to talk about something that's very important right quick, because what I just found out is absolutely diabolical. When I very first read this, I was absolutely devastated. It clearly states that the public health and ethical consideration, regardless of the legal requirements, healthcare providers and public health organizations strongly recommend disclosing one's HIV status to sexual partners, which is fair. It also says that this allows partners to make informed decisions about their own health, get tested, and access prevention methods like PrEP. Completely agree with that. I see nothing wrong with that. But this part right here blew my mind. This part right here is absolutely diabolical. It clearly states that as of early 2025, only 32 states have specific laws that criminalize potential HIV exposure, and many of these laws include a mandatory disclosure requirement before sexual activity. That's absolutely diabolical, because I'm thinking that it was mandatory all over the world that if someone has HIV or AIDS, they have to disclose their status. Period. I think that everyone should have the right to know, so therefore they can make the accurate decisions, right, to prepare, because this is something that can actually end your life, and then on top of that, if you do catch it, since there is no cure for it, even though you might not die from it, you might live your whole entire life expectancy, you still have to deal with the PTSD that comes with that. You still have to deal with the traumatized experience that comes with that. And I think that they're not putting a foot on people's necks law-wise when it comes to this subject matter. And this is another reason why I am bringing this video to the public, because sometimes you got to show the dark side of a certain subject matter in order for people to tighten up and really make the proper changes that needs to be made.
An unprotected sexual activity with the victim without disclosing his positive status and intentionally exposing him to the virus.
4. Florida, 22.3 per 100,000. Florida's HIV diagnosis rate stands at 22.3 per 100,000.
Yo, I just want to say right quick, right? Even though I'm from, the Naptown, I also want to say shout outs to Florida, because I did a lot of growing up there, and I miss Florida, and I love the people out there. They're great out there. But I can say, Florida, y'all some freaky deaky nasty people out there. That's all I'm saying. But I digress.
The state has a significant burden of HIV, especially among Black and Hispanic communities.
According to the Pensacola News Journal, this man will spend 10 years in prison for knowingly spreading HIV. Prosecutors say 27-year-old Rasheem Bodiford knew he was HIV positive when he had sex with 2 women, then lied to them about it.
Hold on, 10 years. Hold on, what did Kendrick say? It's not enough.
One woman said she saw Bodiford with HIV medication, but he told her he was selling it for his uncle.
5. Texas.
Yo, he's ornery for that. What? You was selling it for your uncle? Bruh. Just for that, he should have got the other 10. Like, he should have got life. If I was the judge, I'm like, okay, I was going to give you 10. But since you lied on top of that, I'm going to give you 25. I'm going to give you an extra 15 for that. Like, I would have... That's crazy. Or I would have been like, psych, I lied. I'm going to give you an extra 15.
18.8. Per 100,000 efforts are being made to expand testing and education, particularly in underserved areas. Texas has an HIV diagnosis rate of 19.8 per 100,000 people. The state faces challenges due to its large and diverse population, with urban areas like Dallas and Houston reporting higher rates. Contributing factors include socioeconomic disparities, stigma, and limited access to healthcare in certain regions.
She contacted Channel 2 Investigates after testing positive for HIV and suspecting her ex-boyfriend infected her intentionally. Sarita Anderson took the stand, making a victim impact statement against the man she says she once loved, the man who she now says destroyed her life.
The catastrophic chain of events that led me to down spiral.
So this video right here really irks my nerve because she really didn't deserve it. And you really do have good women out there. And let's just be honest. Nobody deserves it, and especially if you're trying to do it the right way. However, she did do it outside of marriage, and that is part of sexual immorality, which actually leads to my next point that I really want to talk about, dealing with Sodom and Gomorrah and sexual immorality. Okay, I want to talk about something that's very important, so let me cook for a second. I want to talk about a time when God gave a punishment for sexual immorality inside of the Bible. So I am going to partially talk about Sodom and Gomorrah's consequence for sexual immorality. So if you go to the book of Jude, chapter 7, verse 7, it clearly states, likewise, Sodom and Gomorrah and the surrounding towns committed sexual immorality and perversions, and serve as an example by undergoing the punishment of eternal fire. This is very important because in this context, when you look at what eternal fire means, it clearly states that eternal fire refers to the divine irreversible judgment that destroyed the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. While it serves as a direct historical foreshadowing of the lake of fire, the final judgment mentioned in Revelations, it specifically highlights that the effects of this judgment, total destruction, desolation, and permanent ruin are eternal rather than the fire itself burning continuously for all time. But I digress. So let's go ahead and dive back into the video.
Dig myself out of that hole, and basically I feel like the old me died.
Her ex-boyfriend, Karim Tyson Zahakani, pleaded guilty to aggravated assault of a family member with serious bodily injury. Prosecutors say he knowingly infected Sarita with HIV.
Man is behind bars tonight, charged with killing his wife, not allegedly with a gun or a knife, but by giving her AIDS.
Fox 5's Kevin Stewart joins us live from the Rockdale County Jail in Conyers with the story. Kevin?
The victim here was diagnosed with cancer, but soon doctors realized she had more than cancer. She had AIDS, and that's why her husband is here.
Now, this story right here absolutely breaks my heart. She did things correctly. She's actually married, right? So I don't think that this falls underneath sexual immorality. But she's married. And the person who you put your trust in, right? The person who you showed love to, who you accepted inside of your house, in return, kills you. Bruh. And they did it in such a way where it's just like, really? She's already sick. I think they might have said something about cancer. Bruh. And you turn around and you infected her with HIV/AIDS. And that is sad, and that is disheartening, and that is heartbreaking. And you know, my prayers go out to that family. And I actually remember hearing about this when it first happened. And I heard this on, I think, King Carlos. Shout outs to him too. I think I might have heard it on his channel. He has a really good channel. If you guys can go over there and also subscribe to his channel. But I digress. But this is absolutely disheartening. This breaks my heart.
At the Rockdale County Jail. This is Denise and Cleveland Brody, married in 2014 after meeting at a Christmas party 2 years prior. These were better times.
And she loved this man. She really, really loved him.
But Cleveland Brody is now accused of violating his wife's trust, the family's faith. Rockdale County deputies have charged him with murdering Denise Brody, knowingly infecting her with HIV, his status completely unknown to her.
Good. I'm so glad that they charged him with murder. But thank you for visiting my channel at Omni Reactions. You already know what it is. Till next time, y'all. Deuces.